Welcome everybody to the global patch notes of February 7th, 2025. I went through it briefly. We got some overall arcing changes and also some changes coming to a bunch of classes. So first off, we got the emergency escape being adjusted. Emergency escape used to be that you would move and then during the stagger not have your invul. The invul will now persist during the stagger. They've also reduced the speed of movement during the emergency evasion, which we'll have to see how much distance this is going to cost. It has also been improved that you can jump through the spacebar input during the V, which means you can get over tiny rocks and small ledges. This could be pretty big, because I know a few of us have definitely gotten stuck on a rock or something. During the emergency evasion, the bleeding and pain damage that is already applied is the same as before. And also, the endurance recovery has been changed to be very slow during the emergency evasion, and then even after the appearance of the character, the endurance has been changed to recover. So if an emergency evasion ends in the air during emergency evasion, the intermittent link was corrected with the next technology. I think that means it just patches itself and then you still get the stagger. In addition, they're also changing the combat assistance. So they've made that skills are reused during cooldown, the damage may be reduced, or the skill effects may not apply. Meanwhile, the damage of each skill has been increased, allowing for higher damage output when multiple skills are used in combination. Combat assistance was initially added to help new adventurers become more familiar with Black Desert's combat. However, in some cases, it led to misunderstandings with other adventurers in monster zones, or was used in ways that violated operational policy. Therefore, the function has been adjusted to ensure it is used as intended, specifically for rookie adventurers. So now they've fixed the enhancement of combat accessibility, and it is, well, regardless of the activation of the function, the combat accessibility improvement function can be used by not exceeding a total level of 200 in the family. So, total level of all your characters of 200 in the family to keep the combat accessibility. We're now getting some into the class changes. So in the PvE environment, some classes were raised and they've increased the damage around each class's flagship technology. First off, we got the Warrior Awakening. The Grave skill is getting a damage buff currently across both tiers of the damage. The PvP damage reduction is rising as well, but by not too much. Ruthless, when the technology is on cooldown, the damage applied by 44% compared to the previous one. Succession Ranger, we got some changes. When entering down while moving in the rear, it's been changed so that Willingness of the Wind is not activated. The down splash effect of the wind road technology has been removed. Then we got a change on a flow, where the cooldown has been changed from 9 to 8 seconds. Thrill of Nature, we got a flow change. In generally, the flow skill has also gotten a damage increase. Again, with somewhat matching PvP damage increases. So far, it looks like it's mostly PvE. There will be a slight gain in some skills because of the discrepancy of the gain on damage compared to the PvP reduction rate. So some classes might actually get some positive changes. Succession Sorc is getting a 1,500% almost on her Bloody Disaster skill. The PvP damage decrease is going from 78.3 to 81.9. I think this will be a slight net positive, but not by too much. The Dark Business skill also gets its damage applied, but at 37.4 compared to the previous. Awakening Sorc during the Dead Hunt and the Reaper Judge skill is getting pretty much damage increase in all cases. PvP damage decrease is going up accordingly as well, except for during the Dead Hunt. But in the Dead Hunt, it seems Yeah, now it has changed to reduce damage when you reusing. We got the Succession Zerker. There's cooldown changes. There's a change from 45 seconds to 15 seconds for the, I think that's the Beast Roar. Destruction cooldown is being changed from 20 to 10 seconds. Madman, the cooldown of the Rain of Mine has been changed from 18 to 12 seconds. Another cooldown has been changed from 24 to 8 seconds. And there's a bunch of damage changes again. So we got pretty much damage increases ranging from 300% to 1000% or even more. The PvP damage reduction rate is going up a little bit as well, but in some cases it does not seem to match the big increase on the damage percentage. We do have a change that in one of the flow skills, if it's on cooldown, you won't get the crit hit, and in Flying Beast, you do less damage than the previous. Awakening Zerg, we got the big changes coming. Spoke to an Awakened Zerg in the guild. He did mention the Flow Ancient Wave damage is a really big increase even in the PvP with the PvP damage reduction. Maybe it's the era of the Flow Ancient Wave one shot when people are on the floor again. That was his hope from the numbers. Overall, again, explosive damage, debris damage, and general damage going up. Some damage reduction during cooldown. We got Succession Tamer getting damage buffs with according damage reduction. Awakening Tamer getting significant on quite a few of her skills, mostly on her Armorial Saint, the Vizzy, and Resonance. So damage is going up. Succession Musa on a flow skill is getting a 500% damage buff, and on the Dragon Blade, there's a damage reduction during cooldown. Maehwa is the bigger winner of the two, so generally there's a greater blink, cooldown reductions on a few skills, damage increases on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skills. On Awakening, we also have, again, Red Moon techniques, damage increases across the board. A little bit smaller damage increases, though. But again, matching PvP damage, you might get a slight positive. Succession Valkyrie, we have general increases in damage with the appropriate damage PvP damage decrease again. Mostly on the Holy Power. Valkyrie Awakening, again, evasion rate reduction is deleted, and the plus 20 effect for melee damage has been added for 10 seconds on her Divine Explosion. That is a slightly big change. On the success of a hit, all evasion rate decreased 3% was added for the poking skill, well, poke skill. Not sure which one that is. You can look at the picture right here. We have the general damage increases again across the board, a lot of skills being buffed. And then again, during cooldown, damage reduction on other skills. Awakening Wizard is getting a small damage increase on one of his flow skill, well, two of his flow skills. Similar for Awakening Witch, the exact same skills. Witch is also getting the damage reduction on the magical arrow if it's still on cooldown. Striker Awakening cooldown is being changed from 10, 9, 8 seconds to 8, 8, 7 seconds on the collapse skill. On a flow skill, it's going from 12 to 10. There is a damage reduction on the first hits on the axe dip, but for that, an increase on the second skills. Hungry Beast goes up. Awakening Lahn is getting slight damage increases with cooldown damage reductions. Another big winner this patch is going to be the Succession Nova. There is some increases on some of her skills from 5 to 10 seconds on the critical strikes. Oh no, wait, it's not cooldowns, it's actual increase of the crit rate. In the case of all defense reduction, has been changed from 15 to 20 for 10 seconds. So she's gonna rip DR a little bit more. Relatively big increases on some of her damage with PvP damage adjustments. Could be interesting. She might actually be a bit better on the stationary Dhekia spots. Awakening Sage is just getting a increase in the magic damage from +2 to +1 magic damage. Corsair is getting a small change in which her super armor effect disappeared among the last hit on one of her skills. No real change. Succession Drakania is having a slightly bigger thing. One of her Ascension skill is going from 15 seconds to 12 seconds cooldown, which is pretty nice. We got the flow skill Brimbolt Raise is getting damage increase with overall a small increase in PvP as well. We got damage increases on the River Saccharod. I'll actually look this one up real quick. It should be. Oh, that's a Brimbolt Strike. It's the Blazing Strike, down arm B, forward guard on skill is getting the damage increase. Then we have Markthanon's Gesture, which is Shift E, here it is, or Markthanon's Flourish. It's pretty much getting a damage increase. This one I kind of find funny, River Toenails. But that should be, where is it? There, Brimbolt Sundering Claw, getting damage increase. It's a nice skill, forward guard, stiffness again, certain range. Pretty much damage increase across the board on that. Especially on the full ion damage. Getting a nice little juicy increase. Drakania Awakening getting damage increases across the board. In some cases a bit more significant. Succession Musa is getting skipped, but Awakening Musa is finally getting her love. She's getting +4 critical hit on a bunch of her skills. They're also adjusting a lot of skills as well, with cooldown reductions and general damage buffs, where this might make Awakening Woosa a lot more valuable even in AoS. Maehwa Succession is getting slight damage increases across the board as well. And also Maehwa Awakening. Dosa is getting a damage reduction during a cooldown on his Flow Cloud skill. And Deadeye is getting some general fixes. Biggest change for the AoS, the effect of the Warmth of Fire and Cold Air of Water in the Arena of Solaire will no longer be a party buff when activated, but will only apply to individuals. This will be a big change, I think, on how the fights are going to play out. We have the big Callous Council Reef removal work. We're getting reefs removed from Ilia Island. Let this cycle through. Dellinghart Island. Everent Island, the underwater rocks are disappearing. Tulu Island, the rock next to the wharf manager is going away. Fujairah Island, we're getting a slightly wider passage. Luluva Island, the underwater rocks are also being removed to allow a bit more free movement. And Almai Island, again, some underwater rocks are going away, which should allow a bit more free movement of the boats. The biggest change The blue grade gear for Carracks will become available for the central market. The starting prices for base are 11.5 bill, max price 23 bill, with the lowest price being 5.75. At plus 10, we're looking at a starting price of 32.6 bill, with a max price of 35 bill, and the lowest 8.75 bill. The lowest price being such a small increase feels a little bit low, but hey, could be a new viable stream. It was not very clear if we're still going to need the blueprints. If the blueprints will remain to be required, this might not be too worth it if you want to keep your workers, but we'll see. There is also apparently an improvement on the acquisition for the design drawings, but we'll have to see more details when this hits the normal servers. There is a small change among the rewards for daily request. Name of barter change experience has been changed to trade experience. We'll see what this affects. A new snow route for the snowboard has actually opened up on the Snowfall Powder Rush. This is definitely a mistranslation, but it is a funny one. The Wu Dang Tang 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 Kung Tang Snow Flower Snow Snow sprints. It seems to be a expert route. Should be quite an interesting snowboard run with some really big jumps that you need to make it all the way to the bottom. Should be kind of fun, maybe as an event. We got some monster zone changes hitting Crescent Dhekia. So when the Argus seat was killed, it was added to obtain loot. So the crystals will most likely drop loot now. The number of hits to kill the crystals have been reduced by half. If you do not kill the Argus knife stop regularly, has been changed to disappear after a certain time, not after a gimmick cast. And if the seats were not killed, it was added to cast a powerful attack in a wide range of area after a certain time. And also, if it will now change the enhancement for the surrounding monsters. Before the change, it was an increase in defense. After the change, it will increase the damage rate and increase damage. This could mean that you might need to concentrate a lot more on the crystals than just ignoring them. We're also getting a change to Olun's Valley Dhekia. Unsure if this is Dhekia 1 or 2. When the Olun's group appeared, it appears that an Olun heart will every time appear now after a certain number of monsters. If you hit the Olun heart above a certain threshold, it will be destroyed, and the Olun heart, which appears, will cast a powerful attack in a wide range after a certain time. So this is going to be another sort of damage check. In Darkseekers, if you kill the Dark Followers of Punishment and the Dark Followers of Resentment, which appear during one of the events, the disposition level is changed to recovered by 10, so karma levels. And the Dark Followers with the title of Test have been changed so that I think that's also karma is not restored. We're having slight loot UI changes. There's an improvement so that the workers can change the technology when the worker is working. This is quite nice. So the skills should be adjustable while the worker is working. We won't need to stop the work to change skills. When the worker is registered on the worker exchange, it has been improved so that you could choose the village of the worker. When checking for the workers in the registered worker exchange, you can also sort them. After hiring workers, it was modified so that the worker employment window does not close. You can also automatically move stuff into warehouse once the maid window is open now. It will still use the maids as before, with the appropriate weight limits, and if the number of maids is insufficient, it will move what's at the top of the list. So this should be a little bit nice to dump a lot of stuff quickly without having to go to a storage keeper. Okay, this one I'm actually not too sure of. Finally, we have some modification and changes, just fixes for Dosa Awakening, Deadeye, traditional visualization. There's also some camera changes, and otherwise just general changes to the game. And fixes to the world map movement. And that is the patch notes for, well, global patch notes for February 7th. Overall, we should be, well, I'm quite interested to see how the emergency function, or V is going to be having an effect in AoS, and a lot of the damage changes from skills should be interesting.